We just got yet another one. The Miami Hurricanes have landed an athletic freak at defensive end. From the 5'6" to the 305. Jayvon Dawson, welcome to the U.
You are Locked On Canes, your daily podcast on the Miami Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm Alex Donno, and we've got a recruiting happy hour on this Sunday. A 2-for-1. Miami in the afternoon, they flipped Oregon committed 4-star cornerback A. King Hall. By the way, we did an episode on him already. Make sure you check that out in case you missed it. And then in the evening, you get your nightcap with Miami landing a rising defensive end out of Palm Beach County. And we're going to talk about on this episode how Miami's class is climbing. We have now a baker's dozen, 13 verbal commits for the class of 2027, firmly a top 10 class, continuing to rise. Let's talk about the player that Miami just landed in Jayvon Dawson. I can't emphasize this enough. His athleticism and his freakish abilities. You know, when we talk about the collection of creatures out there on Green Tree practice field, this one is going to be the newest creature to add into that mix, because if you're going to be sought after by defensive ends coach Jason Taylor and by defensive coordinator Corey Hetherman and by head coach Mario Cristobal, you better be a physical freak, because those are the types of players Cristobal likes to collect on this roster of his that, still has plenty of work to do, but comes off a very successful, not completely successful season, but is motivated to finish the job the next time they get into the college football playoff. So Jayvon Dawson wears the jersey number 24 at defensive end for Santaluces High School in Lake Worth, Florida, Palm Beach County. So he's staying in the area. He's staying in South Florida. And I think he's now, out of Miami's 13 verbal commits, he's, I think, number 7 for the state of Florida. So Miami, obviously, we know they've got the number 1 player from the state of Alabama, number 1 player from California, number 1 player from Illinois. They've got guys from Texas in this recruiting class, but home is the bread and butter of this class so far, and Jayvon Dawson continues that trend. He was just offered by Miami this month, and Miami was able to earn his commitment in just 11 days after making that offer. So Miami was a little bit late on this one, but Dawson, I think, is someone who's still maybe kind of flying under the radar, but rising. But now, like you say, kind of flying under the radar, his offer list is pretty impressive. So Miami is able to land this player over the likes of Georgia, LSU, FSU, Georgia Tech, North Carolina. Now we're stuffing Belichick in lockers too, and Purdue. And he has canceled. I'm talking like it's me, Mario. He has canceled his official visits to other universities, which is good. Someone, a South Florida kid who apparently, I'm told, has deep love for Miami and has dreamed of becoming a Miami Hurricane. Used to come to Miami games, get this, as an unoffered prospect, right? Before he earned that Miami offer, he would come to games to support the U, and now he has his opportunity to fulfill his dream. 6'4", 215 pounds and growing, has a great frame to continue to grow into. And again, it's been really emphasized to me by people in that building in Coral Gables that the athleticism and the freakish abilities of this player, not only the on-field production, which is also there, we'll talk about his stats as a junior in high school, but the testing numbers are through the roof. And this young man is still, I heard, just 16 years old. He hasn't even turned 17 yet. So, assuming he arrives as an early enrollee in December or January, he would be just 17 years old when he gets on campus at Miami. I'm told he has similar metrics when it comes to athletic testing to guys like Kellen Wiley and Marquise Lightfoot, who are 2 of the freaks on Miami's team already. Lightfoot at defensive end, so you're going to see Jayvon Dawson joining Marquise Lightfoot and Kellen Wiley at linebacker. So here are some of his numbers in testing, Jayvon Dawson. 4.66 40-yard dash, 38.5 inches in vertical, 10'7" broad jump, And in high school, playing defensive end at Santaluces in Palm Beach, recorded 68 tackles just last year alone, 22 tackles for loss, 8 sacks in 10 games this past season. So those are really, really good numbers. So he's productive on the field. He's productive with his testing. I'm told this is a young man of great character. I haven't had a chance to speak with him yet. Hopefully I do someday soon. But Jayvon Dawson is going to be a good locker room fit as well. He's one of the top 30 2027 prospects in the state of Florida, but they feel he's just scratching the surface of his potential, being compared by people to Greg Rousseau, to what he brought to Miami at defensive end years ago. For Jayvon Dawson, Miami, I'm told, really appreciates his family values, the intangibles to go along with the elite athletic traits that he has. So he's someone who can add to a potential national championship culture. I reached out to our boy Blue, Larry Bluestein, because Blue has scouted every player in the state of Florida who you've heard of and all the ones you haven't. Like Larry Bluestein has scouted everybody. So I reached out to our boy Blue for what he's seen on Jayvon Dawson, and Blue came back with me. Not only has he watched Jayvon, he just watched him 3 days ago at the spring game for Santaluces. Blue says he's a stud, he's fast, he's smart, and he has great size. He overwhelms average players with his length and quickness. Very impressive player. And Blue noted he was actually wearing UNC wristbands. So, Belichick, we found room in that locker for you. You're in there with Dan Lanning and Kirby Smart now. So he was wearing the UNC wristbands, but that did not turn out to be any sort of a prophetic sign. He ends up at Miami. He'll probably be wearing Miami wristbands the next time around. And Blue sent me a note. He went to that Santaluces spring game with the intention of scouting their running back, Kelsey Gerald. But he said that, when he was there, that the guy who really stood out was Dawson. So Jayvon Dawson was somebody who jumped off the page to Blue, and now he's a Miami Hurricane. Let's talk about how Miami's class is now climbing. 2027, despite the fact that this is so far not that big of a class and probably won't be that big of a class, quality, my friends, has Miami firmly in the top 10 on every recruiting service. You want to keep it locked right here. We're only getting started on this brand new episode of Locked On Canes. The NBA playoffs are in full swing, and every possession matters. If you're looking to get even closer to that action, FanDuel has a great offer to get you started. Because right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. Guys, I love using FanDuel during the playoffs because everything I need is right there in one place on the app. You can check your stats, your trends, matchups before making your picks, which makes the whole experience feel just a lot more informed. Whether you're looking at player props or just following your favorite stars, it adds another level of excitement to every game. It's a really easy app to navigate, too. It makes playoff basketball even more engaging from start to finish. So head to FanDuel.com to get started. FanDuel, play your game. My friends, we've been trying to keep our Everydayer Club members updated on all these recruiting trends. I've been very busy. Like, I'm always typing and I'm always on the microphone these last few days. God bless Miami's coaching staff. I know, you had a couple of tough misses on Friday, but as we talk about big boy recruiting, the ebbs and flows, the ups and downs, and if you want to keep up with all of that with us, even when we're not doing a show, you want to join the Everydayer Club. You get exclusive one-on-one texting with me, exclusive episodes and newsletters. Go to lockedoncanes.supercast.com to become an Everydayer Club all-access member today. Thank you for making Locked On Canes your first listen. So Miami in one day has landed Jayvon Dawson here, who's a top 30 player in the state of Florida, rising three-star defensive end who Jason Taylor and Corey Hetherman absolutely love. They feel he's a perfect fit in their scheme as an edge rusher. So this guy is going to be bringing the heat on quarterbacks, and he gets to learn from someone like Jason Taylor, which is always nice. I mean, Coach JT has become an absolute terror on the recruiting trail. Now, of course, this one is not a flip, so I give my spatula a little break for this one. but I do have my loafers out. I mean, I got one loafer on, the other one I took off so I could show you guys. I have the loafers out today in honor of Mario Cristobal's recruiting efforts. Those loafers of his move in silence. And so, today has been a big day for Miami. You land the top player in the state of Alabama this afternoon in cornerback A. King Hall, who you flipped him from Oregon. Pretty relevant program these days, although maybe they were more relevant when Mario was there. I kid. It's a very good program, Oregon. Mario, though, is out there recruiting circles out of Dan Lanning the last couple of weeks. And then in the evening, Miami lands Jayvon Dawson at defensive end. So, at the time I'm having this conversation with you guys, they had not yet updated the class of 2027 on 24/7 Sports. So I did it the old-fashioned way, and I put Jayvon Dawson in the recruiting class calculator. And when I add him in there, Miami moves up from the number 8 class on the 24/7 composite, leapfrogging over Penn State to now have the number 7 class. And I'm not sure, I didn't check it right before the flip for A. King Hall. So Miami might have been just outside of 24/7's top 10 this morning, and you finish out the evening in the top 7, which, as George Jefferson used to say, you're moving on up is what Miami's doing. So Miami now with just 13 verbal commits. You've got 5-star corner Donte Wright, 5-star receiver Nick Lennear, 5-star quarterback Israel Abrams, 4-star corner A. King Hall, 4-star interior offensive lineman Sean Tatum, 4-star running back Ty Keys, 4-star defensive lineman Ezekiel Ayungbile, Jalen Jones, 4-star safety, DeMarcus DeRoche, 4-star tight end. Now you add Jayvon Dawson, 3-star edge. You've had Sherrod Gordine, 3-star cornerback, 3-star offensive tackle Tyler Ford, 3-star defensive lineman Josh Johnson. Miami now has the number 7 recruiting class behind Oklahoma currently at number 1. Texas A&M, I don't know how Texas A&M isn't already number. They got 5-star players. I know Texas A&M, they're number 1 on 3. I don't know why they're not number 1 on 24/7. I guess Oklahoma's doing a really good job as well. Notre Dame at 3, USC 4, Florida at number 5, but they'll find a way to fumble down the stretch. UCLA at 6, Miami 7, then Penn State, Ohio State, and Oregon rounding out the top 10. And of course, Miami took away from Oregon today to help leapfrog over them in recruiting. So, man, Jayvon Dawson, nice addition. And, in case, again, I know that, I put out, so this is my 3rd episode of the day today. So if they're coming into your timelines in a weird order, because the algorithm does what it does, if you're watching this right now and you're like, bro, why are you only talking about Jayvon Dawson? Where's the A. King Hill talk? That was an entirely separate episode. So make sure you check that episode out. We had an A. King Hall episode this afternoon. This is the Jayvon Dawson episode. We've been covering every verbal commit Miami has landed. So make sure you check that other one out if you missed it, because that was a big-time flip for Miami. We got the loafers on. We got the spatulas out. And recruiting continues. Thank you so much for making Locked On Canes your first listen. Make sure to smash that like button and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, wherever you get your pods. And we'll talk to you next time. Oh, and by the way, tomorrow's going to be, assuming we don't land any more commits tonight, I'm going to take the rest of the night off. I think we're going to have a new episode tomorrow morning. And EJ Holland from canesport.com on 3 Sports is going to join us tomorrow. And EJ is going to give us the 411 on how and why Miami was able to flip A. King Hall, on what Miami loves about Jayvon Dawson, in addition to everything we just talked about, and who might be next. Because, there are some Canes targets who are going to be making announcements as soon as this week, including A.J. Randall, 4-star linebacker on Thursday, who Miami seems to be trending for. So we'll be joined by E.J. Holland tomorrow. We'll talk to you then on another episode of Locked On Canes. We are part of the number 1 sports podcast network, the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.